Marketing isn't easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler than you're making it right now. I'm Amanda Warfield. I am a simplicity focused content marketing strategist and copywriter, and my mission is to help other small business owners simplify their marketing so that they can spend less time marketing and more time doing the things that actually move the needle in their business and also working less because we all started our business for freedom and flexibility, and yet somehow we get caught up in these work cycles where we're working constantly because the to do list never ends. And that includes the marketing to do list. So today I want to cover three important, they're not necessarily mindset shifts, but they're not firm tips either, but three important things that you should know about marketing in order to help simplify what you're doing with your marketing, I guess is a great way to put that. So, first things first, I just want to start by talking about what is marketing and what is content. Because as a content marketing strategist, a lot of times we can, on one hand, start to think that our content is our business. And a lot of times we can start our businesses by starting a content platform. There are so many people out there who started a blog and then that started a business for them, or who started a podcast or started a YouTube channel. And that's what created their business. That's how I got started with my business. And for a long time, I thought that running my business meant putting out new content. Turns out that's not how that works. So that's on one hand. But on the other hand, we can tend to think that marketing is just content, and that is also not the case. So we can understand that our content is not our business, but we can also at the same time think, well, but that's my marketing. And we can think that that's all we need to do for marketing. So I just kind of want to give a quick rundown. So marketing is essentially anything you do to get more eyes on your business, to make your business more visible, right? Within marketing, we have paid marketing, ads, right? Anything you're doing to pay to get your name out there. But then we have organic marketing. And that is where a lot of us as small business owners, we tend to lean further into because it's free, right? Or at least low cost, which could still be paid, but a free or super, super low cost organic marketing tactic that will help us spread our name, our business without putting a bunch of money into it, without having a marketing budget. A lot of us start there, and a lot of us continue to put the majority of our marketing efforts in that, and that's perfectly okay. So, within marketing, we then have paid marketing, organic marketing. Within organic marketing, we have content, which is blogs, YouTube, podcasts, email newsletters, social media. That's all content, right? It's something that we're creating that we are putting out there. And there are also other types of organic marketing, and that can look like, okay, we've got content, we've got um, connecting with others. Networking is a great way to organically market your business. Networking, word of mouth, getting out, meeting other people, that's a really great way to organically market your business. So anything you can do that is going to get your business more visible without putting money behind it. So that's what marketing is. It's simply a way to get your business more visible, right? But what marketing is not sales. These are actually two very different things. So if you think about, a massive company, they're going to have a marketing department and they're also going to have a sales department. But a lot of times, again, a lot of us are solopreneurs. A lot of times we tend to think, okay, well, my marketing and my sales are all in one. And they're close. One leads to the other, but they're not the same. So I want you to think of your marketing, your sales like a mountain. And at the top of that mountain, that is where they tag team. So your marketing, it does the hard work of leading people to a sale, right? It does the work of moving them and getting them interested in that sale. That's the steep climb, right? But then you get to the precipice and your marketing takes it to, or takes your audience to the sales precipice. And you get to that sales precipice, but then your sales, that has to do the rest of the work. And it should be an easier path, right? Because you've already gotten them interested. You've already done the work of helping them find you, getting them interested, helping them know that they have the problem that they have, right? So you're working them up to that sales precipice. But then once you get to that sales precipice, that's when sales takes over. So your marketing is not responsible for your sales. It's simply responsible for getting your audience to that sales precipice. So your marketing is things like that content that we're talking about, right? That getting visible, all the things you're doing to help people know who you are and what your business does. That's all marketing. But your sales, that's your sales page, your sales call, your sales sequences, those are all the things that happen after someone's already interested. And again, sometimes there's some overlap. A marketing strategist like myself, I will work on both that marketing aspect, but then I also work on sales pages and sales content for my clients as well, right? So there can be some overlap, but they are really two very separate things. And so when you're thinking, why isn't my marketing working? Your marketing might be working. It might be bringing the audience to the sales precipice. Your sales might not be working. And so those are two different things. Now, the final shift I want you to make as you're thinking about your marketing in order to help simplify your marketing is that there should be two parts to every marketing strategy. And I alluded this a little bit earlier when I was talking about what marketing is, but when it comes to a marketing strategy, a lot of times we think, well, I just need to put content out. And that's great. But if you're only putting content out, how are people going to find you? So you need to have both a nurture strategy and a growth strategy within your marketing. So your content tends to be a nurture strategy. It nurtures the audience that you've already brought in, the audience that has already found you, right? And you're showing up consistently, like we talked about yesterday. You're showing up consistently. You are giving them what they need. You're building that know, like, and trust factor. You're building that relationship with them. That's what your content's doing. It's nurturing the audience you already have. And so your content strategy is part of your nurture strategy. And other things in your nurture strategy may be sales funnels you're creating, nurture sequences you're creating, your welcome sequence, client onboarding. There's a lot that can go into that nurture strategy, right? But content marketing goes into that specifically. Now, the other part of a marketing strategy is a growth strategy. And these are the things that you need to do, the marketing tactics you need to do to bring more people into your audience so that you can then nurture them with that content strategy. So, things that go inside of a growth strategy would be um, being on a podcast, going and speaking in front of somebody's membership, or going to a conference, or putting yourself in any position you can to be found by people who have not found you yet. And by being found, I mean easily being found. So, working on your SEO could be a growth strategy. Working on your Pinterest strategy could be a growth strategy. There are so many different ways you can do that, but those are the kind of things you want to be thinking about. And when it comes to your marketing strategy as a whole, you want to have both that growth strategy and that nurture strategy. So, with that growth strategy, you want to make sure that you have, okay, I have this one strategy that I'm focusing on. I really suggest you take one growth strategy, you focus on it for 90 days at least, because it takes time to see that traction and also play around with the strategy. You can go, okay, well, I'm going to work on Pinterest, and you can go learn all you need to about Pinterest. But the reality is, whatever you implement first thing right off the bat, it's not going to be the best strategy for you. And so you have to play around with it and continue to tweak it. So I highly suggest to pick one strategy, focus on that for at least 90 days for a full quarter, and then see where you're at with it. Maybe you want to continue playing around with it. Maybe it's not for you, but that's your one growth strategy. As you get to understand how some of these growth strategies work, you may be able to put some of them more on autopilot, hand them off to an assistant or whatever, and then you can add on additional growth strategies and start to see um, you know, growth coming from multiple channels, and that's great. But start with that one. So you've got that part of your marketing strategy, and then you've also got your nurture strategy, which, like I said, that tends to be our content strategy, tends to be the main part of our nurture strategy. Once we feel really consistent with our content, which, if you did not see yesterday's live, I shared 3 ways that you can simplify your content creation in order to get consistent. So highly recommend that you go check that video out. I will link it below in the comments. So I really encourage you to show up consistently. And then once you're showing up consistently, you can then say, okay, what's another way that I can nurture my people? Maybe I want to work up my welcome sequence now. Maybe I want to work on a nurture sequence. And that way, you're bringing in both the nurture and the growth side into one strategy, and you're able to nurture and market your business and your offers and bring people to that sales precipice. So those are the 3 ways that you can start thinking about marketing a little bit differently in order to simplify your marketing strategy for yourself. If you have any questions and you're here live, please pop them in the chat right here. I already see some, so I'm going to look at that in just a second. But if you're here live and you have questions, please ask away. Anything about your marketing strategy, anything about simplifying marketing, I'm happy to help, and that's what I'm here for. And for those watching the replay, go ahead and pop your questions in the comments and I'll come back and answer them. All right. Thank you so much for sharing the information about the different strategies and providing examples. So appreciated. In starting my new business, it's helpful to see where I should focus some of the marketing at. Yeah. So when you're starting a business, my suggestion is always focus on one thing at a time. So I would focus first and foremost at the very beginning, get consistent with that content, and really try to focus in on your messaging. When it comes to growth strategy, I honestly would suggest probably something like Pinterest, where you can just create pins and then pin them on Pinterest and send them back to the content that you're already creating within your nurture strategy. It's a great way to really share more about the content you're already creating, share more about your business without having to have your messaging fully nailed down yet, because you're just essentially kind of repurposing the content you already created. So you're kind of getting a 2-for-1 deal slightly with your marketing. And so then you can reach the nurture and the growth side of things. When working with clients who haven't figured their messaging out yet, it can be difficult to do some of the other growth strategies when you aren't quite sure what your messaging is. I have a client right now who is incredible at what she does, but she's having a hard time with the messaging aspect. And when people ask her, well, what do you do? She goes, I don't really know. Because she does so much and it's hard to put it into a simple sentence. And so she's still working on her messaging, and that's something we're doing together. So a great growth strategy for her right now is Pinterest. So for anyone else that's starting a business and it's like, I don't even know what to do. How do I do both of these parts of a marketing strategy? That would be my suggestion for the growth strategy side of things. So anyone else have any questions, please pop them in the chat if you're here live. I know I've got quite a few friends here watching. Hi, I'm so glad you're here. And if you are watching the replay, pop them into the comments, and I will be coming back and monitoring the comments and making sure that I can answer questions for you. And who knows, maybe your question will spark one of my future videos. So for those of you that have not seen, this is one of my very first videos on my channel. Welcome. And I am going live every day this week at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll be just chatting about all things marketing and simplifying your marketing. But every Monday after that, every single Monday, I will be going live and I will have a short teaching like this, and then I'll be available to answer questions while we have some. And once we're done with questions, we will be done for the evening, and I'll see you back the week after that. All right, if you haven't watched yesterday's live all about simplifying your content creation, I highly, highly recommend that you go do that. I've mentioned that a couple times here in this video already, but I talk about 3 ways that you can simplify your content creation. And this is so important because it not only saves you time, but it also can help you be consistent with your content. And when you're consistent with your content, you build the know, like, and trust factor with your audience, which means you're building a relationship with your audience, which means they're more likely to buy from you. We don't just market ourselves and we don't just put content out to get people to buy from us. We are truly wanting to build relationships, but that is an important part of making sales and running a business. So highly recommend that if you're not consistent with your content yet, go watch yesterday's video. I'm going to link it in this end screen and also in the description below. And if you have any questions at all, let me know. I will see you back here tomorrow and we will have another live chat. And I hope you'll bring your questions and we can work through whatever it is that you're struggling with your own marketing.